All right, welcome to the deep dive. We got a ton of info from you guys on navigating this crazy job market, and honestly, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're going to break it down, help you make sense of it all.
Definitely a different world out there than it used to be.
Oh, for sure.
Big changes in what employers are looking for, how the whole process works.
Absolutely. So we've got articles here on everything, hot job sectors to, what were those things called?
Applicant tracking systems.
Yeah, applicant tracking systems. Those sounds fun. I mean, where do we even start with all this? Like, what's the most important thing for someone to get about the job market right now?
Hmm. I'd say the biggest thing is it's constantly changing. Faster than ever, really.
Okay, and more than it used to be.
For sure, we're seeing huge growth in fields like, digital marketing, tech, data science.
Right, that's what everyone's talking about.
But even within those, things are evolving so quickly.
So it's not enough to just like focus on one of those big areas.
Right? It's not just about picking the industry. It's got to be about, understanding the trends within those industries.
Ah, okay, so get more specific.
Exactly. Like healthcare, right? Big field, growing all the time. But the real action is in things like telehealth, personalized medicine, all driven by tech advancements.
So you can't just say, I want to work in tech anymore. You got to know what kind of tech and how it fits in the bigger picture.
100%. And that's where these transferable skills come in, right?
Okay, yeah, we saw that mentioned a lot in what you said.
So important. Adaptability, problem solving, communication. These are your foundation, no matter what field, especially in a market that's always changing.
That makes sense. But we also hear so much about tech skills, coding, and all that. Are those becoming less important then?
No, not at all. They're essential, but they're one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so there's more to it.
Way more. Think of it like tech skills are the tools, right?
Okay, I like that.
But these other skills, the adaptability and all that, that's what lets you use the tools effectively.
Ah, okay, so they work together.
Exactly.
I'm getting it. So let's say you've figured out some hot sectors you're interested in. You've got some of these adaptable skills, whatever we're calling them.
Transferable skills.
Right, transferable skills. What's next? Time to update that resume.
Well, hold on. Before you jump into applications, you got to talk about your personal brand.
Oh, yeah, the dreaded personal brand. Everybody's talking about it, but still feels kind of vague to me.
It's more than just a resume now. It's about, building this professional identity that makes you stand out. Lots of competition out there.
Okay, so like what makes you you?
Yeah, exactly. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? All your experiences. How do you package that up so it's clear to others?
And that's got to come across online too, right?
Huge. LinkedIn is essential, obviously, especially for networking, but it's also about your whole online presence. What does it say about you?
Hmm, good point. Hadn't really thought about how my personal social media could affect job stuff.
It all matters these days. Got to be mindful of your digital footprint.
All right, so let's say we've got this awesome personal brand going on. How do we even find the right jobs? Are job boards still the best way?
They can be useful, yeah, but not the whole story anymore.
Okay, I got to get strategic.
Exactly. Niche job boards, ones focused on specific industries, those can be gold mines.
Oh, right, we saw some stuff on that. And then there was this thing about the, what was it, the hidden job market?
Oh, yeah, the hidden job market. That's all about the jobs that aren't advertised. It's about making connections, letting people know what you're looking for. Sometimes you got to create the opportunity, not just wait for a posting.
So networking is still super important then, even with all the online stuff.
More important than ever. And it's not just about, going to events or collecting business cards. It's about real conversations, building genuine relationships.
Okay, so less about the hard sell, more about connecting with people.
Exactly. Think informational interviews, reaching out to people on LinkedIn you admire. Join online communities in your field. Build those relationships that can open doors you didn't even know existed.
All right, that makes networking sound less scary, more like just being curious and making friends. But what about those applicant tracking systems we keep hearing about? How do you make sure your application even gets seen by a human?
That's where keyword optimization comes in. You got to understand how these systems work and tailor your resume and cover letter accordingly. It's not just listing your skills, it's using the specific language employers are looking for.
So you're like speaking robot language, but you got to make it sound good to humans too.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure.
Sounds tricky.
It is. First, you got to figure out what those keywords are. Read those job descriptions carefully. What skills and experience do they keep mentioning? What industry jargon are they using?
Okay, so really dissect those postings.
Yep. When you've got those keywords, sprinkle them naturally throughout your resume and cover letter. Don't just cram them in randomly.
Right? Got to sound human.
Exactly. And formatting matters too. Clear headings, bullet points, white space. Make it easy for those systems to find what they're looking for. And easy on the human eye, too.
Okay, this is making me rethink my whole resume. It's like not just listing stuff, it's presenting it the right way for both humans and robots.
It's a whole new level of strategy.
It is. Well, this is a lot to think about.
And we're just getting started. We'll dig into more specifics in a bit, but first, maybe a quick break.
Sounds good. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, ready to dive into some more nitty-gritty tips for making your applications stand out. You were talking about formatting for those applicant tracking systems, how important that is.
Yeah, super important.
But how much tailoring are we talking about? Like, should we be rewriting our whole resume for every single job?
Not necessarily from scratch, but you definitely want to highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant to each specific job, right? Think of it as like curating your resume to match that job description.
Okay, so it's more like you have a master resume with everything, and then you pick and choose what goes on each one you send out.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to like tweak the wording a little to match the language they're using in the job posting. If they're looking for strong communication skills, make sure that's on there, even if you've worded it differently in the past.
Right, so like speak their language, but make sure it still sounds like you.
Yeah, find that balance.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what about cover letters? Are those still a thing?
Oh, absolutely. A cover letter is your chance to like expand on your resume, show your personality, your passion for the role. It's where you can tell your story.
Okay, so it's not just a formality. You can actually make an impression there.
For sure.
First off, tailor it. Generic cover letters, nobody wants to read those.
Right, of course.
Do your research, show you understand their needs and how your skills and experience fit into that. So it's like a love letter to the company. But instead of saying you love them, you're saying like, I'm valuable and here's how I can help you succeed.
Haha. Yeah, kind of like that. And don't be afraid to let your personality come through a bit in the writing. Let them see your enthusiasm, but keep it professional, of course.
Right, gotta find that sweet spot. Speaking of connecting with people, gotta talk about networking.
Yeah, huge.
Some of what you sent us really emphasized that, like building those relationships, even if it's not directly tied to a job opening.
Right, networking is about more than just like trying to get a job. It's about expanding your circle, creating opportunities. You never know who might be able to connect you with your dream job down the line, even if you meet them randomly at a conference or online or something.
But how do you approach networking without it feeling like icky? Like you're just using people to get a job?
It's all about being genuine, right? Approaching it with curiosity, a desire to learn from other people, reach out to people whose work you admire, ask for informational interviews, go to events, participate in online discussions. It's about the relationships, not just the transaction.
Okay, that makes it sound a lot less, I don't know, salesy. More about actually connecting with people, and sometimes those connections lead to unexpected things.
All the time. My first job out of college, I got it through someone I met volunteering. We were both passionate about the same cause, and that turned into a job opportunity. You just never know.
That's awesome. Okay, so network out check. Now, even with a killer resume and cover letter, got to talk about the interview. That's where the pressure's on.
The interview is where you really seal the deal, yeah.
People send in a bunch of questions about interviews, how to prep, how to answer those tricky questions, how to make a good impression. It can be so nerve-wracking.
Absolutely. First thing, do your research.
Okay, homework time.
Know the company inside out, their values, their culture, their recent projects. Shows you're really interested and you've taken the time to learn about them.
So it's not just knowing what they do, it's knowing why they do it and how you fit in.
Exactly. And research the people you'll be interviewing with, too. LinkedIn is your friend.
Ah, okay, like get some intel before going in.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, especially in an interview.
Now, what about those classic interview questions? Like, tell me about yourself, or what's your biggest weakness? Ugh, those are the worst. Any tips on how to answer those without sounding like a robot, but also, like, strategically?
Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice those common questions, the more comfortable you'll be.
Okay, so rehearse beforehand.
Think about your career story, your accomplishments, the skills and experience that are relevant to the job. And it's okay to be a little vulnerable. Talking about a weakness can actually be good, as long as you frame it positively. Show how you're working on it.
So self-awareness is good.
Super important. And don't forget about the STAR method for answering behavioral questions. That's situation, task, action, result. It's a way to structure your answers so they're clear and impactful.
Ooh, a framework. I like it. Gives you something to, like, hang your thoughts on. Now, what about when they ask if you have any questions? That always throws me off.
That's your time to shine. Don't just ask something generic. This is your chance to show you've done your research, she's curious, you're thinking critically about the role in the company.
Right, so it's like you're interviewing them, too.
Exactly. Make sure it's a good fit for both of you. Ask about their vision for the future, the team dynamics, opportunities for growth. Ask about the day-to-day stuff, the challenges, the rewards, the culture. Showing you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for the right job.
Right, where you can actually thrive. Okay, so the interview's a two-way street. Got it.
Definitely. And remember, it's not just about answering questions, right? It's about building rapport with the interviewer, letting your personality and enthusiasm come through.
So be yourself, but like the best version of yourself.
Exactly. Confident, prepared, passionate. And don't forget the basics. Dress well, be on time, be polite, be enthusiastic. Those things matter.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we've tackled the application, the interview. Now here's the scary part, salary negotiations. How do you approach that without like feeling awkward or underselling yourself?
It's definitely a crucial conversation. Got to go in prepared. Do your research.
Okay, so know your worth.
Exactly. Use websites like Glassdoor and PayScale to see salary ranges for similar jobs in your area. And be realistic. Know what's reasonable for your level of experience and location. But don't be afraid to negotiate. If the first offer is low, don't just accept it. Counter with a range that reflects your value.
So stand up for yourself, but be polite about it.
Exactly. And remember, salary isn't the only thing on the table. Benefits, vacation time, work-from-home options, professional development, it's all negotiable. Find a package that meets your needs.
Yeah, the whole picture.
Right? Think of it as a conversation, not a battle. Be open to compromise, but also be clear about your priorities. And be willing to walk away if it's not the right fit.
Okay, so know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Exactly. Now, let's say you've navigated all that, you've landed the job, congrats. Any advice for, like, starting strong and making a great first impression?
That's a whole other challenge.
It is. Be a sponge, soak up everything you can, company culture, team dynamics, how things work. Introduce yourself to everyone, ask questions, be proactive. Those first few weeks are all about learning and building relationships.
Okay, so be enthusiastic, curious, eager to learn, no hiding in the corner.
Right. Engage with your colleagues, ask for feedback, be a team player, and don't be afraid to take initiative. Volunteer for stuff, offer to help, show them you're willing to go above and beyond.
So to just do their minimum, show them you're invested.
Absolutely. First impressions matter. Be reliable, be responsible, be respectful, and be enthusiastic.
Okay, I'm writing all this down. We've covered so much, from personal branding to networking to applications, interviews, salary, company culture, even how to use your unique skills and interests to your advantage.
It's a lot. But the main thing is the job market is tough, but it's also full of opportunity. If you understand the landscape, build your skills, and are strategic about it all, you can not only find a job, but really build a fulfilling career.
So well said. To our listener out there, we hope this deep dive has given you some tools and confidence to tackle your job search.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and never stop learning.
Awesome advice. All right, we've got to wrap up for now, but we'll be back next week with another deep dive. Until then. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle that last piece of the puzzle you mentioned, how to really make those unique skills and interests, the stuff that makes you you, how to make those work for you in the job market.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. It's not just about checking boxes anymore. It's about figuring out what makes you stand out.
Right? We talked about personal branding, but this feels even deeper than that.
It is. It's recognizing that all those passions and experiences you have, even the ones that seem totally unrelated to work, they can actually be huge assets.
Okay, I'm listening. Give me an example. How does this work in real life?
So let's say you're a software developer, right? But you're also a musician, like you play in a band or something.
Okay, two very different things.
Right. Seems like they have nothing to do with each other. But the skills you develop as a musician, the problem solving, the creativity, the discipline, those can actually make you a better developer. It shows you think differently, approach problems from unique angles.
So you're not hiding that part of yourself. You're bringing it into your professional life.
Exactly. It adds depth to your personal brand, makes you memorable, and it can spark conversations that lead to unexpected opportunities. Hiring managers, they often get excited by those unique combinations.
Man, this is making me think about all the times I've like downplayed my hobbies or side projects on my resume because I thought they weren't relevant. What a mistake.
Yeah, it's a common one. We try to separate work and life, but the truth is, all those experiences shape who we are and how we work. Think about how you can bring those things into your resume, your cover letter, even your interviews. Maybe you volunteered for something, used your project management skills, even if it wasn't in your field. That's still valuable.
So it's about connecting the dots, showing how all those seemingly unrelated things have actually prepared you for this specific job.
Exactly. It shows you're well-rounded, you've got different interests, a unique perspective that's valuable in today's world.
Are there like specific ways to weave those unique skills and interests into your application materials?
For sure. On your resume, you can have a section for interests or volunteer experience. Even just a quick mention can spark a conversation. In your cover letter, tell a story that connects your passion to the job. And in interviews, be ready to talk about those experiences and how they've helped you develop skills.
So it's all about being intentional, finding those creative ways to show off those hidden gems.
Yeah, but don't force it. It's got to be authentic. Let your true self come through. That's what people connect with.
This whole conversation is making me realize it's not just about finding a job. It's about finding the right fit, a place where you can be yourself, use your whole potential.
Exactly. And finding that fit often comes down to company culture. We talked about this a bit earlier, but it's super important. You're going to be spending a lot of time at work, so you want to make sure it's an environment where you feel valued, challenged, and inspired, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But how can you really get a sense of that during the interview process? Is it just about asking, like, so what's the culture like?
You can ask that, but go deeper. Look around the office. How do people interact? Ask about team dynamics, leadership styles, opportunities for growth. Do they care about work-life balance? Do they encourage creativity? Look for things that match your values and how you like to work.
So it's like being a detective. Gotta look for the clues.
Exactly. And trust your gut. If something feels off, don't ignore it.
Great advice. Well, we've covered a ton today. Hot job sectors, skills, personal branding, networking, applications, interviews, salary, company culture, even how to use those unique things about yourself to your advantage.
It's a lot, but I think the main takeaway is this. The job market can be tough, but there's so much opportunity out there. If you understand how it works, build your skills, and are smart about your approach, you can find not just a job, but a fulfilling career.
So well said. To our listener, we hope this deep dive has helped you feel more confident and ready to tackle your job search.
And remember, it's a journey. Enjoy the ride, learn as you go, and never stop growing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.